Most pot roast recipes, well, they are a study in patience. You get fall-apart tender beef and a flavor-packed gravy, but it can take upwards of 3 hours to make. So what if you don't have 3 hours? I don't have 3 hours. Well, you grab a pressure cooker and you also call in Elle, who has all the answers.
Most pressure cooker pot roast recipes sell themselves on speed alone. In this case, it's not going to be enough because it usually results in mushy vegetables, fatty meat, and watery, tasteless gravy that we don't want. But what we will do is turn these cons into pros and create the most flavorful pressure cooker pot roast we can make. We're going to start by pulling a 4-pound chuck roast at its natural line here. You can even do that by hand. You see there's a little sinewy in there. We can just take a knife and help it out.
Because that's where two muscles are kind of meeting right at that point. So
Yes.
It makes sense to break them apart and try to get in at the fat that's right in the middle.
And also breaking them apart ensures that they're going to cook evenly.
And a shorter amount of time, too.
Yes. So first we're going to start by trimming off any of these thick, fatty pieces.
Okay.
Just whatever looks excessive. So it's very important to tie this roast in preparation for cooking it. It will make it cook evenly, it'll cook faster, and it'll give you a better slice in the end when you're done cooking.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on to the next step. The most important, seasoning the meat. We're just using salt and pepper. I'm gonna season just a little heavier than usual. I also just kind of like to give it a little roll. You know, waste not, want not. All right, so our roasts are all set. So we're gonna put the pressure cooker on a medium flame, and we're gonna start by melting 2 tablespoons of butter. So we have 1 onion, sliced thick, 1 carrot, sliced thick also, 1 celery stalk, sliced thick.
I see a theme.
Yeah, and also we're adding a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to help along the Maillard reaction that happens later on. Well, Bridget, it's been 5 minutes, and already our vegetables are very caramelized. That little bit of baking soda really got that process up and going for us.
And it's a little bit the butter, too, because the milk solids in there, they're going to get nice and toasty, really good flavor in there.
We just created a ton of flavor. So to this, I'm going to add a cup of beef broth. We're going to use this to scrape up these little bits. We need all these bits because bits equals fat equals flavor.
It's so heartbreaking when you see people and they brown meat in a skillet, and then they go and they wash it out, and you see all those brown bits or the fond just get washed away.
Like, where are you going with my flavor? So we only used 1 cup of broth in this recipe because not a lot of evaporation happens in a pressure cooker. But what we do need is a little extra flavor since we didn't brown that meat. We're gonna add some soy sauce here, exactly 2 teaspoons, and 2 bay leaves for flavor. I'm gonna just give that a little stir.
It smells like gravy already.
Okay, so I'm just gonna nestle these roasts in here right on top of the vegetables. We're gonna use it like a raft. All right, great. We have all our meat in there. Let's lock this lid on. We're gonna put this on high heat to bring it to high pressure, somewhere between 3 to 8 minutes, right? But it will depend on the pressure cooker that you're using.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna crank this up a little bit here. Okay, so it's been about 8 minutes, and as you can see, our pressure cooker is at high pressure. So at this point, we're gonna turn it down to medium-low, and we're gonna let it cook for 55 minutes.
That is a huge reduction in time, 55 minutes compared to 3 hours.
Way less.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so it's been 55 minutes, and it's time to take this meat off of the heat. So I'm gonna turn it off, and we're gonna let the pressure release naturally for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Anything quicker than that is too aggressive for the meat, and it'll cause it to fray.
We do not want that. Only 55 minutes of cooking, we want it to be perfect.
Okay, Bridget, so we let this pressure naturally release for 10 minutes. It's okay for us to do a quick release of pressure to finish off.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna open that up there. Oh my gosh.
The aroma coming out of this pot, the beef, the vegetables, the broth, it smells so good. I wish you could be here.
It smells like it roasted for hours, right? All right, well, I'm gonna transfer it to our cutting board.
All right.
Okay.
Getting those roasts out of there.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tint it with foil and let that rest for 20 minutes. We're gonna use this juicy goodness in here.
All right.
And start to create our sauce.
Yes. Now this might look a little silly. We got a little double strainer action here. We've got a fine mesh strainer over our fat separator, which has a strainer on top of it. Now some of these are fine mesh and you don't need to use this extra little bit of equipment here, but for us, we want to catch all of those vegetables and anything else before it goes into our fat separator.
Right. Okay, so we have all those vegetables in. I'm just gonna remove these bay leaves. They've already done their job. So this juice is gonna settle for about 5 minutes. And these vegetables need to go into our blender. We're gonna use them to create a total delicious gravy for this pot roast. All right, Bridget, so our braising liquid has been settling for 5 minutes. And I'm gonna add it to the blender with our cooked vegetables. This is just the beginning of the most delicious sauce you've ever had. And we're gonna blend it for 1 minute until it's smooth. All right, that looks great. What a way to turn those mushy vegetables around, right?
Great idea.
It smells so good.
And mushy vegetables turning to really delicious gravy.
We're gonna add 1 sprig of thyme, 1 tablespoon of red wine, and 2 tablespoons of cold butter for a little depth of flavor. We've turned this on to high heat and we wanna bring it to a boil. We're just going to reduce it to about 2 cups and that will take about 5 to 8 minutes. Okay, so our meat's been resting for 20 minutes. I think we're so close to eating. I'm gonna remove this twine from here. Since the string has done its job, when I slice this roast, it should stay intact.
Always gonna fall apart a little bit.
You know what else can keep that falling apart from happening is just cutting against the grain. This looks so amazing. Let's eat some.
All right, let us eat some.
And we also use these vegetables to make this delicious gravy. So can I
Please.
do the honors for you?
I was gonna stick a straw in there. Meat is juicy, it's succulent, and it's incredibly tender. That was 55 minutes of cooking. And the gravy actually tastes like roasted vegetables. It tastes like roasted onions and carrots, all pureed in there. Not losing anything.
Not at all. That alkaline environment that was created by the baking soda really did its thing.
Our super fast recipe starts with 2 trimmed and tied chuck roast bundles. Sear mirepoix with baking soda to help with browning, and then pressure cook with beef broth and soy sauce. Release the pressure slowly and then make a gravy with the vegetables. So from America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, a fast and fabulous pressure cooker pot roast.
Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.